So welcome. This is Deborah LeeAnn, and I am the host of the School of Light Collective. Our podcast is dedicated to all the light seekers, light bearers, light players. I mean, we are just a bunch of light beings all in this together, this big cosmic soup. And I am delighted. Are you okay, Abigail, if I read your bio first and then as an introduction? Okay.
Go for it.
Today I get to welcome an amazing goddess embodiment and activa, Abigail Mensah Bonsu. Am I saying that correctly?
You got it perfectly.
Perfect. She is the founder of the Moon Goddess Publishing and Moon Goddess Academy. She is an elevated consciousness and feminine embodiment mentor, multidimensional healer, a #1 best-selling publisher and author. She's also the host of the Sovereign Divinity podcast. She works with master souls, leaders, visionaries, way showers, star seeds, light workers, and powerhouse women to bridge the gap between their physical and spiritual selves so they can maximize their success, creating greater impact, more money, and an aligned, resonant, magical life. You can see why I love you. She guides women to their greatness, inspiring them to truly own their divine essence, presence, power, and worth, to create a high vibration life that is their divine birthright, their own version of heaven on earth. She lovingly and powerfully reminds her clients of what they really are, beyond the limitations that they are currently perceiving, which is that they are powerful and limitless. She helps her clients remember by breaking down the mental constructs, the illusions and programmings, and removing all those masks and activating their divine blueprint, their vision, and their purpose. Freedom is the result. Some of the themes around her work include goddess mentorship, feminine leadership, DNA and light activations, mindset restructuring, multi-dimensional healing, archetypes, star seeds, awakening, quantum manifestation, and divine remembrance. I will put all the links in the ways that you can connect with her in the body of wherever you're seeing this podcast. And if you are wanting to reach out with her with more questions, especially after our juicy conversation, please, I encourage you to do so. Abigail, it is my delight, my honor, and I'm just excited to have this conversation with you.
Deborah, thank you so much for having me on this amazing podcast. So I love the mission. I love the mission of the school and what you all stand for. And of course, Patricia, freaking love her. So yeah,
what's not to love? And we're all different dimensions of each other. And we just bring out this, what I believe is a collective genius, a collective magic that gets turned on when we're connected in different ways. And so, you know, how you see the fractals and the sacred geometries, I play in that world all the time. So
I'm with you, sister.
Oh, I love this. So you say what I do. I can't say it. You're obviously much more at this wordsmithing thing. We got to talk because I would like to write a book. So, and I've got all kinds of experiences. I just don't know how to describe them. So what I would like to do today is so our listeners can get a chance to really see some of your essence is tell me a little bit about how you got to be this goddess of embodiment and activa and magical woman. Did you come out of the womb that way, or did you have to?
Yes, I did. I did. And I believe my journey has been a journey of embodiment and also remembrance. But I did come out of the womb with all of my gifts. But, you know, the world wasn't ready yet. So growing up, I had to shut some off or hide some parts. But it's like I was born a spiritual being, like the spiritual realm is my shit. Like, excuse my language, but
no, you're fine.
Damn, like I get it because I'm always operating in there. So for me, the part of my journey was really about learning how to anchor all of that divine light into the earth, what that even looks like, what that even means, being grounded, being comfortable in being this physical body. Like that has
Absolutely.
been my journey, like what is it like to, be a human
Yeah.
who is divine?
Yeah.
What is that like? Like that's been my journey, like figuring that, merging those two together. And what I'm realizing is that the more they come together, the more we feel fulfilled in this life, the
Yes.
more
And
we are successful, the more we feel whole, the more we feel connected. Like everything just becomes more juicy when we merge those two. So I was
oh,
like, I mean, after it didn't happen immediately where I was like, oh, this is like my path. This is what I'm supposed to teach, right? We never know that until like way later. And I was like, oh, through my clients who would come to me, I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm supposed to help them merge those two. It's not about separating our physicality or just doing spirit. It's about both. It's not about one or the
absolutely.
other. It doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that more of us are doing that, because that's my bailiwick too, is this whole somatic intelligence piece. Because I work with religious women and spiritual women, and they're so tied up into the divine realms. And I'm like, we need you down here,
Yes.
walking amongst us. And it's okay to be human. It's actually a delight to be human, a divine
Whew.
human. So
that
yes, yay!
that
I'm
brings
so
like chills, but I'm like, oh man, the
yeah.
journey to really get into the point where, oh, this is Xavier.
Hello,
I told you he
babe.
was gonna come in. The journey to get into the point where you feel like being human is, what was the word that you used? It's
Well,
a
divine
delight.
human. Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
delight. And there's a
It's like,
there's a whole sensual dimension, which is really fun working with religious women who have vows of celibacy. But
oh yeah,
there's this whole sensuality. It doesn't have to be sexuality, even though that's
yes,
a pleasure in itself. But
yes,
how do we play with all of that? And um we can play in high dimensions, but we can bring those higher dimensions down here. And that's what creates this magic on earth, like you said, to create heaven on earth. So
yes,
beautiful.
absolutely.
So one of the questions I had for you is, did you have some turning points that like were like, oh, this is where I need to go because this, tell me about that a little bit.
Do I? So the first one, I talked at the beginning about the challenge of really being in this human body, you know, and like knowing that I was divine and spiritual, like that was my innate thing, like that's who I knew myself to be. But being in this human shell was very foreign to me. And
Mm.
on top of that, I didn't want to be here. It's like I going back and visiting when I was born, which I was born dead. There's like a whole initiation right there for me. And I've talked about it many times where my grandma basically, when everyone had given up on me, she grabbed me, took me outside. Now, I'm originally from Ghana. We have like, outside fire, like compound. We call it like, it's like the hearth of the home, basically in the middle
Ah.
of the compound house, right? So she threw in some chilies and kind of like hovered me around it, and I sneezed. Like when my mom told me this, I almost fell off my chair. I was like, is that wait, is this for real? And then there's so much synchronicities to that, because like I cannot eat without putting chili in my food.
I'm
One of
with
my
you.
spiritual teacher was like, you need to like wear a necklace with it on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's your yeah. But and so like visiting there, let's see, where was I going with this? It's like so much coming in all of a sudden. I was like, whoa, train of thought. Let's focus here. Um,
Wherever you go is totally fine. So
I rejected my physicality for a long time.
yeah.
And it wasn't until I was probably 26, I realized that I would hear, I mean, all my life, I've been the person that people come to and they'll tell me, oh, I feel so much better being in your energy. Like people feel joy when they're around me. And yet I wasn't feeling it. I felt cold inside. I felt so lonely inside, just empty. I always tell people that I felt like I was a walking zombie. My body was here, but my spirit was way over there trying to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so at age 26, I woke up. Something happened where I was involved in an accident where I had a concussion. And that night I was praying. I was like, this is it. I can go home. This is it. If only, because the doctor tells you, the doctor tells your partner or the person with you to kind of wake you up every now and then. And so I was like, if only my sister would just forget, and then I can just sleep and go back home. I was so excited. And I felt myself leaving my body that night. Like I just felt, I was like, oh, we're leaving, we're going. And all of a sudden I hear my sister open my door, walk in, and she taps me and I got yanked back into my body. She said, hey, come back. And then she walked away. And so I'm laying there like I have chills talking about this. Even the words that she used, she could have just said, hey, wake up. But she said, hey, come back.
Come back.
And then she just walked away.
Yep. Flight's been canceled. Sorry.
Exactly. I was like, dang it. But I woke up and I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm still here. I'm 26 years old. If I'm supposed to leave, I would have left by now. Like every time, I've had dreams like growing up where I would go, like the gates of heaven will open up and I'm like running and you're like, yes, I'm going home. And then, one of the ascended masters that I work with is beloved Jesus the Christ. And he would always say, hey, it's not time. Where are you going? Get back. When it's time, I'll let you know. You haven't even started your work with. And this was dreams I had for the longest time. And so at this point, I was like, I can't do this anymore. There must be a reason why I'm here. Everyone seems to be enjoying, like feeling this joy that is supposed to be emanating from me. And I'm not feeling it. I want to feel that. And so I don't want to even say it's a vow. It's more of like an intention. I just stated that, fine, I'll be here, but I'm going to live the best life ever. Nice. And so from then on, I mean, I had no idea like but from then on, like things started falling into place. Like I started doing the group counseling in my college. I would just go there. And then I started doing like individual therapy. I started buying myself a rose, like, and put it in my room and just like, these are little things, the little steps. And eventually I met my first teacher who, of course, she is a shaman. And the whole part of that was about embodiment, being physical.
Absolutely.
Which, I realized that, like, of course, way afterwards, it's like, oh, my first spiritual teacher was a shaman to help me really anchor.
I love it.
And that kind of just opened up the whole journey of embodiment and remembrance.
Yes.
Like after I was with my shaman teacher for quite a while, like probably like 3 or 4 years. And then after that, I met my next teacher, which was incredible. And she was more of like the higher council teacher. That's what I call it. It's like I had the earth teacher and then I had the higher council teacher and she's the one that really helped me remember and begin to receive, like open up the codes again, but not, because I feel like if I had met her earlier, I would have still been hovering here.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what codes we open or what I remembered, I would still not understand what the purpose was. So being able to be in my body, I was able to receive these codes and feel it in my body and understand and know and see, oh, this is why I have this code. This is why I received this activation. This is why Mary Magdalene is one of my.
She's one of mine too. Oh, she's of course. So we've been hanging out together.
Oh
so
yeah.
In the corner, she's one of my corner keepers or whatever you might call it. Yep. So yes. I love her. Okay, so the other question I have for you is, I think that your path always pointed to where you needed to be, but did you question that the world was ready for you to do this work?
It was more of a knowing at the beginning. It was just a knowing, just looking at the people around me. No one was seeing what I was seeing. No one was knowing what I was knowing. Like it was me. And every now and then I was lucky to meet certain role models who just pop in my life. And they were all like way older than me, and say something or show me that they see what I was seeing, that would just kind of like bring hope again, like, oh, I'm not alone. But it was like every now and then it'll come in. This was like when I was younger. But once I started my journey, like I was surrounded by people who got it. I was surrounded by people who were doing the work. And yes, we might have been the minority, but I wasn't alone anymore. And so
Yeah.
it's more, it felt, how do I say this? There was never a doubt of my purpose. It was rather if the world was ready for it or not.
That's the piece, because I feel that there are those of us who have these deep knowings, who know that we see things that others don't see, who don't know how to bring it into the mainstream world. And many of us just sweep it under the rug and do some kind of day job or whatever, because we need that. Well, there's something about wanting to belong and wanting to be seen as, valuable. And so many people have, I mean, why have I ended up with 3 engineers in a row in my life? Because I have to be constantly validating the magic to go along with the science, so anyway, my question to you is, when you got to those places where, I don't know if the world is ready, and there's that, you knew you were supposed to be doing this, but you run into those perceived obstacles, maybe. How did you get to the other side? How did you go, okay, how do the doors open for you? Sorry, as I knock everything off my desk.
I kept going. For me, I don't have the luxury of hiding, if that makes sense. Even when I think I'm hiding, that's when I would get the confirmation from people like, I see something there. You're doing something like, just like my background is in pre-med psychology and Chinese medicine. And so I have that scientific background. And I would be in clinic, putting needles in patients, and they will tell me, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, thank you.
Right. They knew there was a lot more going on.
Me. Yeah, right. I didn't even have to. My gift is so anchored within my being that I don't have to worry about the door closing or opening. It's always open. And it's almost like it's beyond me. I cannot stop it from manifesting. Now I can,
so beautiful.
I can pretend that, hey, I'm not seeing it, right? But then everyone is still experiencing it and telling me they experience it, So like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna do it. I always just kept moving forward. And yes, I got people telling me, oh, you're just imagining things, where did you get that from? Or you sound like a book, especially with the gift of inner knowing, it's just like, where did you even get that from? Did you read that in a book? Something like that. And yes, it hurt. And I wanted to shut down. But again, my team, the badass, they always brought certain people in my life at those specific moments that will keep me going. That would exactly open. It's like, hey, you're good. They will come in and I'll be like, oh, I'm not alone again, and then of course they leave when that is done. I'm like, why can't you stay with me?
I know. I was just complaining about missing somebody recently, and I actually told my, engineer number 3 partner about this, and he just kind of looked at me, and I thought, I said, she had this blue skin, and he's just like, yes, too much. I didn't need to share. So anyway, we digress. Let's get back to, I want to know about the role of the moon in your life.
Mm.
You have all this juicy, and I'm a moon girl. Maybe you can, oh, it's
So,
not up there right now, but yeah.
oh, thank you for asking this question. I think this is the first time that someone has actually asked me that, because my name, my business name, Moon Goddess Academy, Moon Goddess Publishing, and what came through, how that, how it represents in my life is the divine feminine essence. Is our innate being, that hidden pieces of ourselves, that golden juicy part of ourselves that is hidden, that wants to be illuminated and come to the surface and be integrated. So the moon, to me, that is what it represents. And of course, the moon, I had moon goddess circles where I taught these amazing women how to, work with the flow of energy. It's not about worshiping the physical moon. It's just a moon, right? But when you tap into the energetics of it, it brings in certain flow.
Oh boy.
It brings in the wisdom. And that is what I want people to learn. The wisdom of, the moon, the wisdom of the planets, the wisdom of the universe. That is what we're supposed to pull in, right? So the moon is the divine feminine. It's our inner yumminess. I'm going to call it that.
That's fine.
Golden essence that wants to be illuminated and brought to the surface, our inner desires that wants to be expressed. It doesn't want to stay, right? If that was the case, then the moon will always be on the dark side.
Yeah. And I love that she's constantly changing, and she reflects, and she's got that soft but bright color. So there's something, I have always been a moon girl. So I love that you called all of your groups on Facebook. All you have to do is look for Moon Goddess. You'll find out.
Yes.
So I have a question for you also around, tell me what it feels like to be, in my experience, which is a limited one, of course, as a white woman, and I'm older too. I got decades on you, girl. But the thing is how has it been in a very white, spiritual, feminine embodiment, leadership, coaching, and goddessy world to be a woman, a beautiful woman of color? I mean, what is that like for you? And okay, I'm going to stop there. What is that?
No, all the questions you're asking me is so freaking delicious. I don't think anyone has ever asked me any of this before. And yet these are the topics that I'm always thinking about, It's very interesting, because now I'm really seeing it. It was like recently that I was like, oh my gosh, there is a thing as Black woman in spirituality. I wasn't seeing that many. And I started to seek them out. And of course, it started to show up. And even that, it's like, who wants to work with a Black woman, and who wants to work with this, and who's looking at that, like who's looking at skin color for me. And it might be the way I was, raised up and where I'm from. Of course, I'm from West Africa, Ghana. I mean, I'm surrounded by people who had my skin color, but my parents traveled a lot. So we were very infused with other cultures. Like we learned about other cultures. I loved seeing, like my parents' friends who were like doctors and nurses, and they were like Americans. They were, they're from everywhere, Lebanon and India, like they were everywhere. And so we grew up seeing like all the different colors, and so for me, and this is something that I've heard, especially in the spiritual community, where they might call it like spiritual bypassing or a name for it, where it's like, I don't see the color outside. And when I say that, I truly mean it, because who I am only allows me to see your energy. I am communicating with your energy. I am seeing you beyond your physicality. It doesn't mean that I'm bypassing what I'm seeing, but it means that I'm seeing what is important, what can help you move forward, what can, And you look like you're going to say something.
Well, because I believe that, because I know that there are people that just see the energy, see the essence, see the auras, the colors. And I think it's more of a white woman thing. that
Mm.
we're used to speaking this language and, going to our yoga classes. And I mean, we've even taken the namaste greeting away from the people that, without honoring, we just had Thanksgiving, which was a native, I mean, the natives
Yes.
taught us
Yes.
how to say thanks. Do we
Yep.
acknowledge that? So
Mm.
I'm struggling with my whiteness in this world where I feel like there are a majority of white women that are in this world of spiritual and feminine leaderships world. I guess it's just an arena, and I would love to broaden that.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that we all can play in the same arena. And which brings me to my other dicey question. Are you ready?
Wait, before you say that, I wanted to add on. And I believe it's happening. Now, here's the thing. Perhaps maybe it's the white women who who have the courage to step forward. Right? Because what I see a lot of people, my color, who are doing amazing work, but it's almost like they're hiding, they're hiding in the shadows. So maybe one group is having the opportunities, the support to be up front, but there's so many, what you doing, baby? There's so many other, diverse groups of people who are doing this work and might not be, famous or out there, but it's happening. So especially, I feel like the past, what you doing, baby? Yeah, let go. Okay. I feel like the past 2 or 3 years, we're really being called out.
Yes. We can't, there's no more hiding anymore. And there's no more hanging out with just people that look like you. It's got
exactly. We all have to diversify.
Yes.
We all have to, like, it's almost like you will start to realize that the more diverse your container, your community, your world is, the more it feels whole. We all carry certain codes. And when all those codes come together, we're able to really exemplify the oneness.
Right.
Now we have ways to go.
No, we do. But every time I've been in the last 3 years had the pleasure of working with women around the world. And when we come together in retreat, we have an interpretation team, and it's so brilliant because I can have women that don't speak English, speak Spanish right now. And they are in their interpretation. They ask a question. I get it in English in my ears, and I answer it in English, and it goes into Spanish for them. And I'm just like, this is
it's incredible.
I know. And because this interpretation team knows me from working with me for 3 years, they know my language. So they're able to translate in a way that gives the essence of the words on a deeper level. So this is so needed. Now, this is something that I woke up with this morning, and I thought, okay, I'm going to ask it anyway. So there's this toxic feminine competition thing that is being held in place by many of us who, we inherited it from the patriarchy. And the problem is there can't be too many beautiful, intelligent, amazing, successful, on purpose, lit up, sexy women out there, because there's only room for one, right? As the queen or whatever that old Disney programming is. I don't know. So where I want to go with you is, how would you, if you and I were to partner, what would you say is the antidote to support women on looking at someone who is doing something that's maybe a step or two ahead of them on their path or their journey, or maybe not? And they're just, maybe they like scooted by you and you've been doing the work for 30 years, and all of a sudden in 2 years, they're like doing amazing.
Yep.
And you're like, well, how come she, how do we celebrate and share the beauty and the wealth and the light and her success in a way that is supportive and holds it for all of us?
Yeah. I mean, first, and there's a couple of them that I'm going to say. The first thing is, identifying that we have sisterhood wounds, and identifying which sisterhood wound is activated within you when you're around women who might be doing what you're doing or what you would like to do. One of the things that one of my teachers told me, and she's like, you're meant to run with women who are way higher than where you are. And until you learn to be confident in yourself and feel worthy, doesn't matter what they do, you're always going to feel like you're lesser than them. And when she said that, at that time, she was like she was older than me too. And she was way ahead. I mean, she was my teacher. And I was like, there's no way, no, you're like, yeah. So she was like the first person to really challenge that. And now, like, looking at the women around me, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I would have been able to entertain and be in the energy of these amazing people and feel like I was one of them if I still felt unworthy, if I didn't trust in myself and my ability to do what I'm doing. And so identifying the sister wound, understand that, yes, there's something within you that is preventing you from experiencing the amazingness that is showing up for you. The second part is begin to surround yourself with these women. Let them teach you. Yes, let the self-esteem stuff come up. And then address it like, oh, you are making me feel like I'm not enough. Okay, well, here's the thing. When these people come into your life and they start to show you, like they're teaching and you see that within them, like, oh, that woman is so beautiful. Guess what? Those codes are within you. The beauty that you see in that woman is the beauty that you have. Oh, that woman is so intelligent. Guess what? You're intelligent too. It's like we're mirroring each other constantly. Yes. And when we learn that, when we truly see that, like, oh my gosh, you're reflecting to me what I already have. Perhaps I haven't embraced it yet. And that's what you're here for, to teach me to embrace it. So when we change that programming of, oh, you're too beautiful. You look like a goddess and I don't, right? And you change it into, oh, you're gorgeous. You are vibrant. Wait a minute. The only reason why I'm able to see that is because it's within me. Yeah. Yeah. See, that completely changes things.
Absolutely.
But it's like, it might sound easy as I'm saying this, because at first you will have to deal with the unworthiness, the self-talks that come up as you stand into the image of the woman that you are becoming in front of you, right? All that stuff will come up for you. Deal with that. Look beyond that, right? And
I've done it with men. Like, this is interesting because I'm glad you call it the sister wound, because I've done it with men where I've hung out with people who didn't just put me on a pedestal, they were like questioning me at every turn and like, how can you possibly make money being a spiritual leadership trainer and all that. And then proved them that I can. And then, but the interesting thing was I still deal with that. I need to prove myself to this guy. But there's still some unpacking of things around the women, around supporting each other in a way that is what we so need, that collective wisdom circle of coming together and supporting the remembrance. You use that word, and that's a big one for me too, so that we can all remember that we are amazing, brilliant, wise, light beings. So in these bodies.
You really are.
Yeah.
Like one of my mentors right now, Adriana, I freaking love her. I've known her for years now. I met her in the online realm. And when I first saw her, I mean, she challenged me. Woo! Being in her energy made like it invited you to step it up. There was no playing small in her energy. And there was just, even before I knew what she was reflecting to me, it's just like, I just wanted to be in her energy because it was challenging me. Right. Nice. And, now I'm like, she's always 2 steps ahead of me. And I look at her, I'm like, that's me. That's where I'm going. She's
Yeah.
showing me exactly what I need to do, where, what steps I need. Like I am so fortunate to have someone show me the way physically so that I'm not stuck in the spiritual here, right?
Yeah. And it's the being the moons for each other. It's the reflecting the light back at that's what I all of a sudden I was like, of course this makes sense. Okay. So I wanted to have this conversation with you because I feel like it's the one thing that's really holding us back from
Yes.
really claiming our power and moving forward collectively, not as a bunch of individuals, but in this, one of my teachers years ago said, the days of the lone wolf are over.
They are over.
Yeah, we are transformationally only going to get where we want to go in terms of raising consciousness if we're all linking arms. You know, we
Oh,
all
I
have
want to
to.
say something with that.
Sure, please
So
do.
when you said that, it's like this, it just came in that there are people who are afraid of the whole oneness and collective consciousness because they don't quite understand what does that mean. I'm going to lose myself and just be like
Mm,
everyone else. That's what it sounds like. It's like, am I going to just lose myself and be like everyone else? Because
mm-mm.
within you, you're not like everyone else. And so the image that comes in is that we have source, who is divine feminine, divine masculine, source light. And then from that reigns the different fractal, the different, I'm going to use light, like the rainbow colors that
Right.
fall down as droplets. And each droplet becomes its own consciousness so that it can go out and collect more information and bring it back up to that bigger consciousness that we all are. So we already are that collective.
Right.
Now, what bridges those two? Hey, baby, it's okay. Here. It's okay. Yeah, you can just relax. You can just relax.
Aw. And and
What
that's
bridges?
the
Yeah,
bridge you were
what
talking about.
bridges those two is getting to know who you are. What is my soul frequency? Who am I? What is the color of my droplet? Am I a blue ray? Let's just say it that way. What does that mean? What is, perhaps the blue ray is about teaching humanity how to communicate consciously, right? It's like by understanding who you are in the image of the divine, you tap back into the collective consciousness.
Yes. And that is one of the things I center into is the self and the self. It's like it's the individual light that we are and the collective we are. And where are we in the middle of all of that? So it's one of the centering techniques I do. So I have a question to close. I know that we're at time almost. I wanted to ask, and I don't know if this is a good time since Xavier seems like he needs you. If you were to share with us one of if you had I don't know, an activation or something that you wanted to teach in the next couple of minutes, do you have something you can expound on and let people see what your light does when it's lit up even more?
Yes. So let me get this little one situated here.
Okay, doke.
There you go. Go sit on the bed and watch it. Yeah, go relax. Smiling over here. I put one of his favorite program on my phone.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. Whew, okay. So one of my gifts is light language. So I speak light language.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to be bringing that through, but yeah, let's just dive in there.
That would be
Let's
lovely.
just dive in and see. Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, just close your eyes and begin to take deep breaths into your body. I don't want you to disappear out or escape from your body. I want you to really come into your body. So use each breath. Feel your stomach expand, your chest expand. And with your exhale, feel yourself contract. There's that flow, that ebb and flow, just like you're in an ocean. As you're breathing, just for this moment, just let go of all the to-do lists, let go of all the things that, that needs to be done, or what is, just let it all go and just be in this moment. This moment is a gift to you. Breathe into your body. And now begin to breathe into your heart. And notice within your heart, as you send these pure breath, pure air into your heart, you begin to see this ball of light that grows and gets brighter and more powerful with each breath you send to it. And now I want you to invoke your higher self into your heart. Now, if you're not familiar with your higher self, congratulations, we're linking you up today. So you can just say, I now call my higher self to come into my heart. I now call my higher self to come into my heart. And breathe. And I want you to pay attention to how he or she truly shows up. What does that look like? Is that a feeling? Do you see colors? Just bring awareness to that, because the more you do that, the stronger that connection is. This is you. This is not like a different being or entity somewhere popping. This is you in your unlimited expression. The you that is always tapped in to divinity. The you that knows everything, is infinite, is everywhere. This is you on all levels. Just embrace her, bring her in. And as you're breathing and really experiencing her, I'm gonna drop in right here. It feels like a drop in, but just see this pillar of light coming down from above, from that source ball of light, just dropping right into your heart, and it anchors. And when it does, it like expands all around you, like through and all around you. And then see another pillar of light coming down from the heart of the Divine Mother, from the heart of Earth, also coming up, 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 up through your body, and it anchors within your heart as well. And just breathe as all these three glorious energies, divine light, merge within you. And really allow yourself to experience this. Just breathe into it and see all of it, see all three flames or all three lights merge into one starlight, and it expands and creates this beautiful crystalline matrix all around you. Make it as big, bigger than you're comfortable with, okay? There's no playing small here. Make it as big as you want. Let this light literally overflow. Just let it overflow. Let it flow to all areas of your life, especially the parts of your life that needs some support at this time. And the parts of you that needs support at this time, that needs love at this time. Just see it cascading. And just engulf in these areas of your life, engulf in these areas of you, whether it's the inner child, the teenage self, the past life self that is still in need of healing so that you can move forward. The light knows where to go. Allow it to flow wherever it's needed. And just breathe in this space. I'm just going to bring in some light language to unify all of this and also integrate and anchor, lock and seal this on all levels of your being. Shuru kitna saviara kakoa shiara tatia oro sotina karia soria kina karaso yana satira kiero siana katiroa ai
We blew up the internet.
Literally, the moment I started bringing the light languages, the light flickered. It like turned off and. Oh, okay. We're definitely going to be anchoring this. So let's do this. We're not
Oh
going to let this
my
get
God.
away.
I'm like, no, you can't. I don't you dare interrupt my light language activation ceremony here. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Thanks for bearing with us. Anyone who heard that hiccup, it'll probably show up in the recording because I don't know how to edit it out. So
That's okay. Let it be. It's all
okay.
part of it.
All
It's
right.
all part of it. I don't think anything can step in the way. It's already flowing. It's already doing its work. Nasaria Toro Koshina Katira Soa Ayoroso. So anything in the way of you receiving this blessing, anchoring, integrating it on all areas of your life, on all levels of your being, we clear uncreated, deleted now from all time, space, reality now. Hurus ena sarwa kitira oro os ena akara soa ya nasaria de wakia nore esiana kia shurwa. If you could only see the amount of support you have here, the ascended masters, the angels, the archangels, your spirit guides, your animal guides, your higher self, your holy self, all here. They're all showing up for you right now because it is time. It is so time. You are so ready for this. You might not even know it yet. Let go of anything that no longer serves you. Let go of anything that makes you feel heavy. Let go of anything that prevents you from really being who you really are and expressing your heart. Noros era sariana kakyoro orosiana katira soro. Turusiana katina sara kwa kishira sariana katiro oro siana katiro sia aro siana katiro sia ashira nasariana kwa shira katira oro siana nakiti sur oro washina sarietina saru kwa e shara sariera katiro. May the light within me ignite the light within you. I bless your mind. I bless your heart. I bless your body and its wisdom. I bless your path. I bless everything that ignites you. I bless all that you are. May you merge into the oneness of who you are. May you feel safe in this expression. May you know that you are never alone. You are never alone. And you are so loved and supported through this time and even the ones to come. You have everything that you need to flow through this time with ease. But it is your choice. You get to choose. If something's not working right for you right now, you can choose to either continue that path or you can choose something else that ignites you. So, beloved, what turns you on? What ignites your heart? So what makes you excited to wake up every morning? Let's go ahead and ignite that. Let's get that going. Let's get that flame full and activated. Beautiful. Taking a deep breath in here. Hold it for a little bit. And completely release. Let's do this one more time. Taking a deep breath in. Hold. And release. It is done. It is done. It is done.
Thanks be. Thanks be. Thanks be.
And so it is.
Absolutely. All right, gorgeousness. This is almost too much fun, but we're at our time. And I want to ask if there's anything coming up in terms of, I'll put your connections on how to find you in the body underneath this video, but is there anything that you would like to share with your folks in terms of what your community is up to? Is there something you're cooking up to deliver
Of
soon?
course. So,
Silly me.
so towards the end of well, it is the end of the year, my goodness. So on December 30th, I am doing a closing ceremony. This is something I usually do for the women in my high-end program. So Goddess Unleashed, Moon Goddess Academy, Moon Goddess Circle. But this time I'm opening up because more and more people need to feel this magic and enter into the new year feeling empowered.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be doing this ceremony to help you release what needs to go so that you can step into the new year ready to receive this gift. So I can send you the link so you can share that.
That'd be great.
I have 2 multi-author books also open up right now that I'm calling in contributors for. And the first one is the book of activations, and it's just like what it sounds, is all channeled activations. I want when someone opens that book, it's like activation of the codes of goddess. Okay, you read the activation, you get activated, because that's the energy that we're really stepping into from this point forward. We're getting activated, we're getting more fully embodied, and so I'm looking for contributors for that. And the second book is Oracle, and this book is specifically calling in women who have the ability to channel divine wisdom and bring it to humanity. I'm really feeling like this important messages that is supposed to come through and help humanity through this time that we're in, and also guide us into the golden age. And so if you're hearing this and you're like, yes, that's me, let's chat, because your wisdom needs to be in this book. Humanity needs it at this time. I mean, both books, they're all that way, is what humanity needs. So yeah.
We're a couple terms we're using is life-giving and in service to. I'm using those a lot in the leadership work that I'm doing. So both of these books will be life-giving in terms of expansiveness and abilities to make it through these great changes, and the other piece of being in service to. And that is, I feel, not in a way slavery. It is a way of expanding our gifts by offering them to the collective. So yeah, it actually makes us stronger.
Yes.
So so this has been a true delight. And Abigail, you and I are going to have to coffee again soon.
I love it.
And I just want to say that it was worth waiting for. And I'm sorry you had to cancel before, but this is perfect timing. And we will get this out within probably by the end of this week. I'll have all the editing done. So thank you, everyone, for your part of being. This is why we do this, is because we can feel the juice of the listeners. And it's just, I hope everyone has an amazing rest of the year and into 2022, where all the magic just keeps expanding. Yes. Take care and shine your light, world. Thank you.